Welcome to SST College of Arts and Commerce. You are watching SST Edupedia. I am Assistant Professor Varsha Sawlani. In this lecture, we are going to learn the topic Recent Trends in Banking Industry. This topic is for TYBAF Semester 6, third unit, Service and External Sector. In that, 16th number chapter is Recent Trends in Banking Industry. Now, entire banking sector plays an utmost important role in the service sector as well as in the development of the economy. The entire economic development is many a times depends on the banking sector. The basic functions of banks are accepting deposits, lending money. The people as well as the corporates park their funds which is hard earned by them in the banks. Broadly, there are the four types of banks: central bank, commercial bank, cooperative banks, regional rural banks. Apart from these, there are the local area banks, payment banks and other banks also. But entire banking industry or banking sector is being regulated by RBI, which is a central bank, Reserve Bank of India. Act 1934 regulates the banking sector, and in 1949 there is a Banking Regulation Act. Under that, many public sector banks and other banks follow the guidelines of Banking Regulation Act 1949. In this chapter number 16, the title is Recent Trends in Banking Industry. So let's see the recent trends. This is as per the beginning of the 2000. The syllabus is not that much revised. If we talk about the current 2023, there are the different recent trends, but I have covered maximum updated information in this video. The recent trends are: first we will see the structure of banking industry in India. Second, public sector banks in India. Private sector banks, foreign banks operating in our economy, regional rural banks, Indian banks operations abroad, use of technology in banks and no-frills account. These are the main points of recent trends in banking industry in India. So we will see one by one each point. The first is structure of banking industry in India. The entire banking industry is regulated, as I already said, by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. 1934 Act was made and it started implemented in the year 1935. The Reserve Bank of India bifurcate banks into two parts: scheduled banks, non-scheduled banks. The scheduled banks are those who are following the guidelines of RBI and have a paid up capital, which is the limit given by RBI. And non-scheduled banks, hardly there are 3 to 4 non-scheduled banks currently operating in India. Majority, 99% of the banks are scheduled banks. These scheduled banks are bifurcated into commercial banks, cooperative banks. The commercial banks further bifurcated into public sector banks, private sector banks, cooperative banks, foreign banks. And the cooperative banks are further bifurcated into state cooperative, district cooperative and other cooperative banks. Other cooperatives like local area banks are also there, those who are doing the functions of the banks. So this is the entire structure of banking industry in India. Scheduled banks, non-scheduled banks. Scheduled may public sector, private sector, foreign and RRBs, regional rural banks. This is the first point. Second point, public sector banks in India. There are 12 nationalized public sector banks operating currently in our nation, such as Bank of Baroda, Bank of India. The most largest is State Bank of India, having market capture, 1/4 market capture is by SBI. Central Bank of India, Canara Bank, Indian Bank. Then there are the Punjab National Bank, Punjab Sindh Bank, then UCO Bank, Union Bank of India, all these are the 12 nationalized banks currently operating in our economy. The third point is private sector banks in India. There are recognized by RBI, there are 21 private sector banks. Those who are following the guidelines of RBI, those, for example, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, HDFC, Yes, Bandhan Bank, City Union Bank, Dhanlakshmi, National Bank Limited, RBL Bank Limited, all these are the private sector banks, 21 list, you can refer this for private sector, those who are working in the economy. Next is foreign banks operations in India. The foreign banks, those who are doing business, in all there are 46 foreign banks operating in our nation, like Citibank, Barclays Bank, PNB Paribas Bank, Bank of China, Emirates Bank, JP Morgan, American Express Banking Corporation, Abu Dhabi, Commercial Bank Limited, Industrial Bank of Korea, Deutsche Bank. All these are the few examples of foreign bank. In all, 46 foreign banks having the branches in our economy, and they are providing the banking business. Next is RRBs, regional rural banks. Overall, in all total 56 regional rural banks are there in our economy, those who are working under the supervision of NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. The 56 RRBs are state-wise. There are the different banks, like we can see that Andhra Pradesh Gramin Vikas Bank, Assam Gramin Vikas Bank, Kerala Gramin Bank, Karnataka Gramin Bank, J&K Gramin Bank. Means these RRBs are at the state level, they are working, and they have the many branches in that state in various districts. So these RRBs, the main important role is agricultural as well as rural development of the economy. Next, Indian banks having branches abroad, operating or doing the banking business in other countries. Overall, 227 overseas correspondence banks are there, which are spread in 75 different countries of the world. The State Bank of India, SBI, is the largest, having the largest number of overseas branches, that is for 52 branches are there, followed by the Bank of Baroda having 50 branches, and later Bank of India having 29 branches spread in these 75 countries. The state-owned banks are also operating in the abroad nations, like they having the branches in different countries. In UK, 32 branches are there. In Hong Kong and UAE, 13 branches are there, and in Singapore 12 branches are there. These banks are doing a good business, marvelous business in these different 75 countries. Then the banks use technology in the banking sector for the development of the industry. Nowadays, the banks are using artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning for the advanced development of the banking services. If I talk about during 1990s, late 1990s and beginning of 2000, that is beginning of 21st century, the banks were introduced many different technologies in terms of plastic card, that is debit card, credit card, ATM services, real-time transfer of money in the form of RTGS, NEFT. Then banks are also providing the mobile banking services, internet banking services, telephone banking services. They started providing the demat account. Nowadays, banks are called financial hub. Means they are not only providing the basic functions, they are not only providing the basic services, that is accepting deposits and lending money, but also the services of selling the mutual funds, insurance by having the tie-up with the other companies. The banks are also selling the demat account, providing other services to the companies as well as to the individuals. That is merchant banking, investment banking services, how to list the company into a stock market. So they are providing the corporate services also, as well as they are catering the individual needs, and they are into a retail sector. So with the help of technology, it is possible, it is feasible for the bank to cater individuals as well as to cater the corporates also. The last point of the recent trends is application of no-frills account. The no-frills means the banks has also started that the individuals can open zero balance account or very low balance account, especially to cater the low income level of the population of our nation. This, as the name suggests, that these accounts don't have any unnecessary rules or frills with them. The account holders also has the access to the internet banking. They also eligible to get the debit card, as well as they also access the ATM services. Actually, the frill word is related to textile industry, related to fashion, but in this frills, no frills account means the zero balance account the individuals can open in the banks. So all these are the recent trends. In all 8 points we have seen in this, like structure of banking industry in India, public sector banks, private sector banks, foreign banks operating in India, Indian banks operating abroad, then regional rural banks, RRBs, use of technology in banks, no frills account. All these are the basic points which we can cover in this topic, that is recent trends in banking industry. Thank you for watching till end.